Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Domingos Fernandes. I'm gonna share with you my personal experience with living with MS. Just a bit about myself. I was born and raised here in Sarnia, Ontario. In high school, I was in sports. After high school, I started working as a short order cook, and I had been a general laborer and a cab driver. Um, I love to sing karaoke. I had aspired to be a chef. Um, I was diagnosed in the year 2003 with primary progressive MS. And for the first few months, I had to walk with a walker to get around. And by December the same year, I was in a wheelchair. Um, and hearing my neurologist tell me that you have MS, as you can imagine, was very devastating. I knew it was what it was going to take for me. Sorry, my eyes are burning. Um, uh, I had asked my neurologist for a second opinion, which is within your rights. You're allowed to ask for a second medical opinion. Don't just settle for the first one that you're told. Let's skip it over. My symptoms in the beginning were double vision, loss of balance, and bouts of vertigo. For the first, like I said, I could still get myself and transfer and stand up and whatnot. What I need to do, could still go up and down stairs on my bum. When I actually lived with my mother, I had to go up and down the stairs and use a manual wheelchair to get around, which was difficult at times, as you can imagine. I battled severe depression, which most of you all know. With MS, depression is a very big thing. And I know in talking with Dave that mental health is a big issue, and depression is part of mental health. So that's something that you have to take care of. I was married at one point. I have 2 children of my own, 4 stepchildren, and I am a proud steppapa to 2 grandchildren. With MS, as you all know, it compromises your immune system. For me, it doesn't take very much to get sick. A simple sneeze or a cough is all it takes. And it ends up sending me with an exacerbation to the hospital, and sometimes it's for extended periods of time. And it's not nice. Like, nobody wants to be in the hospital. Scroll over. Okay, I always know when something isn't right. If I feel off, weak, or lethargic, I know that it's time to go and get checked out. Um, you know, you have to listen to your body with MS. If you're tired, have a nap. Or if you're having a muscle spasm, don't fight them. Just let them happen, run their course. Because if you fight them, you're going to make them worse. And you're going to end up feeling some pain. And I've been there myself. It's not a nice feeling when you get a Charlie horse that you can't reach down to massage out and, relieve the pain. A couple of conversations that I had. My first one that I'll share with you was with my brother at his house. We were at a family get-together, and he had said to me that I was a stronger person than he was. And, I had asked him how so, and he said that he could not deal with what I deal with on a daily basis. And I told him that I don't deal with it. I just have to adapt to the changes. If you just sit there and deal with it, you can make yourself miserable and depressed. And again, that's not very good. The second conversation I would like to share with you is a gentleman that's a family friend. My mom used to babysit him. He would come to visit me frequently when I had an exacerbation. And he would always, when he would leave, he would say to me that he always learned something from me. And I asked him what it was that he learned. And he said that he learned that I'm a very patient person. Very willing to share my knowledge of MS. Scroll over. And that I'm very positive. With MS, you have to be positive. You can't dwell on having MS, because if you dwell, it's going to make you miserable, and it's going to bring everybody else down around you and make you miserable. And the last conversation I had, which actually had shocked me that I had made this analogy, I had a friend and her boyfriend over one night, and he asked me if he could ask me a serious question. And I said, sure, go ahead. And he asked me, would you rather live in jail with a chance to get out, or would you rather live the way you are? And I had said to him that I'd rather live in jail with that chance to get out, because with MS, your body is like a jail that you will never get out from. And he was shocked, and to come up with an analogy like that, it shocked me drastically. Like I just okay, let's see here. Okay, now I'll get into a few statistics. Scroll over, Shirley. MS was discovered back in 1868 by a French neurologist by the name of Jean-Martin Charcot, and he called his findings sclerosis en plaques. Now, my French isn't very good, but I'm assuming sclerosis en plaques means plaque sclerosis. There are 4 types of MS, most common being relapsing remitting MS. The MS patient may experience eye pain, double vision, numbness, dizziness, both bowel and bladder problems. When an exacerbation occurs, there is a period of healing. With secondary progressive MS, symptoms include more weakness, stiff leg muscles, bowel and bladder issues, harder times with fatigue, depression, and problems thinking. With primary progressive MS, there are no clear relapses like relapsing remitting MS. I personally experienced severe muscle spasms, bowel and bladder issues, pins and needles in my legs, numbness, fatigue, problems with short-term memory. I could try to think of something that I did 2 days ago and not be able to remember it, but I could remember something I did 30 years ago. So memory is definitely gets affected with MS. There is progressive relapsing MS. They experience eye pain and vision problems, pain in their neck when they bend their backs and when they bend their neck. All forms of MS experience problems with temperature. I myself, if temperatures get over 75 degrees Fahrenheit, I need assistance because I become like jello. I can't move at all. And with the cold, it's the exact opposite. It sends me into a full body spasm. And again, I need more help to get inside to get out of the cold and warm up. Let's see. Now, with MS, women, it's not known why, are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with MS than men. Primary progressive and progressive relapsing MS are both rare forms, of the disease, and 15% of people will be diagnosed with primary progressive MS. Scroll over. It takes 50% more energy for an MS patient to complete the simplest of tasks. I could sit here and tell my arm that I want it to go up above my head. I'm not able to do that. An average-bodied person, on a whim, can just send a thought to their arm and put their arm up above their head. Whenever I have an exacerbation, I can only imagine what mobility I'm going to lose next. Globally, there are 2.3 million MS patients. Canada's population as of 2017 was 36.71 million people. And of that, 290 people for every 100,000 are diagnosed with MS. There, according to the MS Society of Canada, an average of 2.6 people for every 1,000 or one person for every 385 people diagnosed daily. The average diagnosis of MS is anywhere between 20 to 49. There are people that are older and younger being diagnosed with MS. When I was diagnosed, the average diagnosis was 15 to 26. So there's a lot that has changed in 16 years. As of 2011, 2012, let me scroll shortly. There's an estimated 3,800 MS patients that are living in long-term care facilities, and another 93,500 that are estimated to be living in private homes. I'm fortunate enough myself to be living in my own home with the assistance of March of Dimes Canada. There are disease-modifying drugs for relapsing remitting MS and secondary progressive MS. On February 15th of 2018, Health Canada had approved another drug for progressive relapsing MS and relapsing remitting MS called Ocrevus, and you have to reach or meet a certain criteria for this medication. If you hear an MS patient start to cry or laugh at just any given time or at inappropriate times, it's nothing that they can control. This is called the pseudobulbar effect. It's when lesions affect part of the brain, control emotions, and it's very common in other neurological diseases. Scroll over. The average life expectancy of an MS patient is 7 to 10 years younger than the average person. Known causes of death in MS are respiratory failure, cardiovascular disease, infections from pressure sores, and suicide. And with the suicide aspect, that comes with the depression. And so again, that leads back to the mental health aspect. Canada is known as, among healthcare professionals, as the MS capital of the world. Canada has and continues to have the highest rate of MS in the world. The United Kingdom is the second highest, with the average of 164 people for every 100,000 diagnosed. In geography, in general, MS is more common the further away you go from the equator. And as the years go on, I'm always learning more about MS. There's so much to learn, but yet there is so many unknowns. When I have an exacerbation, I look at it as another obstacle to overcome, and I fight to do so. Because you can't just sit there and lay back and take it for what it is. Just, you gotta fight. Scroll over. Myself, living with MS, it actually has humbled me and given me a new perspective on life. Don't take things for granted. Live life to the fullest, because you never know what tomorrow will bring. So, I would gladly answer any questions that anyone would have. If someone has something that they would like to ask. Okay. I was 26. At first, my doctors thought originally that my first attack was when I was 15. My eye went cross-eyed on me. And when it did that, I had fell off my bicycle. And the doctors told me that if it corrects itself in 2 weeks, we won't run any more tests. I was very unfortunate that it corrected itself and they didn't run any more tests, so they may have caught it back when I was 15. That was kind of shocking, but there's nothing I can do about it, so I just moved on. Anybody else have any questions?
Have you ever been
Actually, I did go about 8 years ago. I don't know if any of you have heard of Dr. Paulo Zamboni, who discovered CCSVI. I went for that treatment myself, and I had some benefits, but it lasted me about 8 months, and all my symptoms came back. So it seemed like a good idea at the time, but I think it was more novelty. I'm just on meds to control my muscle tremors and my neuropathy. So I'm hoping to look into that Ocrevus and see if I meet that criteria. So, but I'll have to get in touch with my neurologist. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you very much for having me here. I appreciate it. And, yeah, thanks.